To be honest with you, I hate the job. Entrepreneurship was not for me. From the failed experience of inventors in this region, Progressio was born. It's a movement to fix what's wrong with innovation management, R&D, what's wrong with the inventor community in this region. Making inventors as sexy, as valuable as entrepreneurs. Okay, so these entrepreneurs are doing the best they can with what they have. If you matchmake them with inventors, God, are they gonna do wonders? Do you have what it takes to be an entrepreneur? Or should you be an inventor that makes 10 more inventions and makes money from them? You have to have the people aware of what they can make.
Building so many bridges.
Yeah.
And you're trying to also sort of close that bridge that lets the talents just run away. If a child says, I want to be an inventor.
I said, I want to be an inventor. And then society kicked that out of me.
What would you say is the most important skills they need to develop?
The best tool you can use today is AI.
What if somebody who's on the outskirts and thinking to become an innovator or to create ideas, what would be your advice to them in those early stages?
The simplest of ideas are the ones, by the way, that made the most millions.
Who are you? What's your story? Yoeil, I'm so happy to be with you here today.
Likewise.
We started a little series called Eureka Incorporated.
Yeah.
And there we want to see, like, basically it's all in the name, right?
Yeah.
When you get a Eureka moment,
yeah.
And how does it translate to become an actual incorporation?
Yeah.
And I'm really, really excited because it started in Finland and now we're here in Egypt.
Yeah.
With brilliant minds, I have to say.
Yeah.
Millions of brilliant minds.
Millions of brilliant minds.
And I would love to understand more about Progressio because, funny enough, I met your team at the International Research Commercialization Expo.
Yeah.
And the first person I met was Saif, and he said, Tariq, I think we do the same thing, but you're in Finland and we're in Egypt. We need to talk. Yeah. I was like, okay, sure. And then I met Shadi, and then I'm having the pleasure to meet you as well.
Yes.
So Yoeil, you are the CEO and co-founder of Progressio.
Yes.
Before we talk about Progressio, who are you? What's your story?
So I'm an inventor that very miserably is an entrepreneur right now.
Miserably.
To be honest with you, I hate the job. Entrepreneurship was not for me. I believe I'm doing this because we have to, but in originality, I'm an inventor. Okay. Or let's say a wannabe inventor. That's where it all started. I was fascinated about engineering ever since I was a kid. I was always building stuff. And I got fascinated about energy and batteries at some point. And that's when it all started. From the failed experience of inventors in this region, Progressio was born. So as a human being, I'm a guy on a mission for the community. I saw the brain drain I saw in my community, in my university, in Egypt, in the region.
Yeah.
And right now, I would say if I define myself in one thing, I'm a guy on a mission. I hope that Progressio ends very soon. That's why we have the tagline expires soon.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this.
So it comes from that. We believe this is a mission. This is a movement. It just happens to manifest as a company. But at its core, it's a movement to fix what's wrong with innovation management, R&D, what's wrong with the inventor community in this region. Making inventors as sexy, as valuable as entrepreneurs.
Oh, as sexy and valuable as entrepreneurs.
Exactly. Our society, 10 years ago, our society saw entrepreneurs as slackies without jobs. Today, entrepreneurs are valued, and that's amazing for our economy. The next step is we need to value our scientists and inventors as well, as much. We need to reward them as much. We need to create programs, government programs for them as much. That is the economic driver. We think of Silicon Valley as a place that allows inventors and entrepreneurs to work together within a structured harmony that allows them to excel beyond our wildest dreams. That's why we always compare to Silicon Valley. This is the mission of Progressio, bridging that gap. Making a place for inventors, making a place for entrepreneurs to innovate. Entrepreneurs in our region are trying to innovate with very limited resources. If we connect what's happening with the inventor community, with the entrepreneurship community, we're going to see wonders in the next few years. We're going to see the things that we think are only restricted to the West, which are not. Silicon Valley is not hard to replicate when you understand the bridge that needs to happen between inventors and entrepreneurs. Because we think of it as, let's say, a three-pillar cycle.
Okay.
Innovation. We see So a scientist, what does a scientist do? They make money from grants, and their output is a scientific paper. They're inspired by knowledge. They want to gather more knowledge, and they get papers out. They teach. They're in universities. They depend on a lot of grants and so on. And then there's the inventor, which is different from a scientist. One person could be both.
Sure.
But we need to separate them. An inventor is incentivized by licensing, and their output is patents, and they're all about building something with the knowledge. There is knowledge that comes from scientific advancement. They use that knowledge to build something useful for society. That's an inventor. Their incentivization mechanism is different. Their source of income is different. And even if I'm one person who's a scientist and an inventor, I need to say that. I'm a scientist and an inventor, because I have two roles in society. And then comes the entrepreneur, who takes a valuable innovation that changes humanity and scales it to everyone that needs it. When you think about it, that's how Apple started. Steve Wozniak had the personal computer.
Okay.
And was showing it off to his friends, and his great business idea was, why this is so easy to build, why don't we sell the schematics of how to build this at home? And then came the entrepreneur Steve Jobs and told them, what the hell are you talking about? We sell the computer, we can build this and sell it as is. Nobody was going to buy a schematic and build it at home. So Steve Jobs was able, as an entrepreneur, to scale this innovation to everyone that needed it, which created Apple today. So understanding the relationship between these two people is what we need in this society. And from that, let's say, pain point of losing that bridge, having no place for inventors, we might, in our region, we might have place for scientists and entrepreneurs. And the link in between inventors, we kind of kick out. Progressio started as a mission to fix that for all of them, not just for the inventors.
For all of them.
For all of them. The entrepreneur needs the inventor, the scientist needs the inventor, and the inventor needs the scientist. This is one unified ecosystem. We were studying what's happening in the entrepreneurship ecosystem here in Egypt, and we're seeing the gap. The funding, the VC funding from abroad is declining, while the number of startups are increasing. When you analyze the data, you realize, okay, how many app-based startups can we do? So yeah, we're having less and less innovation index over time. So the value of the startups is not increasing. And that's where we see, okay, so these entrepreneurs are doing the best they can with what they have. If you matchmake them with inventors, God, are they going to do wonders? The economy is going to change. A lot of things are going to change. So the vision of Progressio is outside of Progressio. All to the point where we think the best way to actually solve this problem is to automate it, to make Progressio cease to exist, to run ourselves out of business. To the point where this is knowledge everywhere. People have that bridge automatically, and one day we can close the door and say, okay, nobody needs Progressio anymore. And I hope to go back to being an inventor.
No way. That's what a mission. I've never heard of this mission before.
Yeah.
We're gonna drive ourselves out of the business.
Exactly. That's our main KPI. Surprisingly,
Yeah.
the more we try to drive ourselves out of business, thank God we're successful. Because we're providing way more value. This is something that one of our business friends was telling me. This might be a business strategy. I told them, I don't know. I was just doing this to actually run ourselves out of business. But they reflected on it in you trying to run yourselves out of business, because everybody else is now trying not to run yourself out of business. You're trying to succeed. You're afraid of the day that you might go bankrupt. But choosing to drive the vision and the mission towards running yourself out of business creates this insane obsession of creating the maximum value, which in turn makes you the most valuable player in the market. That was an unexpected result. I wouldn't say that we knew that was going to happen.
We knew what we were doing.
Yeah, we didn't know.
What a hunch.
But we got to a point where, okay, we're going to help everybody get out of this pain point. So we started doing crazy stuff. So right now, we build R&D labs for corporates. We're giving them all our technology management and R&D management know-how, building the know-how in-house, teaching them how to bridge with academia. A normal business in our field would kind of become the bridge.
True.
And take a fee.
Services, yes.
Take a fee anytime you cross the bridge. No, we build the bridge there. We go to their house and build the bridge, to the point that we actually tell them, in 2 years, if you need maintenance services from us, we consider ourselves to have failed. You need to not remember who I am in 2 years. And that's kind of allowed us to provide immense value. So surprisingly, a lot of people will be afraid that there won't be sustainable cash flow.
True.
But surprisingly, we're taking a very massive market share because of that.
Taking a very massive market share.
Exactly. Nobody's doing it that way. Who the hell would go give their know-how, all their know-how into one place? And we've broken it down even for startups. We've started doing R&D management, and technology commercialization services, broken down to the simplest service, so that a startup or even an inventor working on their invention that wants to jump the next step in their technology readiness level, the next step in their market readiness level. They just want to license. We've given all the services broken down so that anybody, anywhere, as I said, serving the entire community, can innovate sustainably and without the misknowledge.
The misknowledge.
Yes. So we're operating in ecosystems where we have a lot of lack of knowledge when it comes to IP awareness, when it comes to, let's say, commercialization awareness. Even if I have a patent as an inventor, I don't know what I can do with it. You can be a millionaire. You can be worth millions of dollars from a patent. And we've seen this from the guy that invented the bank payment protocol, the guy that invented the bank payment protocol. And then you have the guy that invented the Nerf gun, made $80 million in royalties just from $80 million in royalties from a toy gun. The inventor of the Nerf gun. I think his name was Liam Johnson, and he was a NASA engineer that built the Nerf gun at home for his kid in his garage and just patented it and licensed it. $80 million from a patent. So there's lack of knowledge, let's say, in the entire ecosystem on what to do next. Wherever you are, even if you're an entrepreneur, okay, I want to innovate today. Fair. What do I need to do? Okay, in my field, let's say I'm in pharma tech, and I know that there are research facilities in the universities. How do I collaborate with them? I go in, I read their IP policy, and I don't understand why they have the ownership and what do I get out of that? Why do I fund them? I'm a startup. I need access to these labs to kind of innovate, but I'm also an entrepreneur. I have a business to run. How can I collaborate? How do I connect with academia? So there's a lot of lack of knowledge between these islands. Academia is an island that wants to connect to the business and wants to commercialize and don't know how. Business and industry is an island that wants the infrastructure that's already built in academia, the R&D infrastructure that's already built there, to kind of cut costs, and we cannot connect. So, and in Egypt, we have a massive R&D infrastructure. We have a lot of money from the government being spent yearly on facilities. A lot of money. Labs that are gathering dust. If we don't need to build new labs in corporates, they can just use what we have. So we see this building R&D labs for corporates in Egypt.
Yes.
We don't ask them to build R&D labs. We ask them to build technology management and technology commercialization capabilities within their company. And the R&D management that we build for them is just by connecting to the labs that already exist. We advise against building your own labs because you don't, what we call open innovation and lean R&D. Lean R&D development, the open innovation model where we use the infrastructure, which we believe at scale is going to shift Egypt's economy. And the extent of this region is toward this movement, the extent of this movement is towards the region. This is a model that can replicate. Connecting industry and academia has been proven to be very successful. We've seen this through the Bayh-Dole Act, and we see how much innovation drives growth in economy. It's correlated. There's a study that has been done on the relevance of economic growth with patents in a country. So they generalized the fund of funds model. So if a country raises a DFI, a fund of funds for startups, For example, at the time of that study, they measured against $100 million fund of funds to fund VCs that fund startups in the country. And they assessed the success rate of that fund in relevance to the patents. So they've seen that the higher the number of patents in a country by the time they fund startups, the higher the return.
The higher the return.
Exactly. So South Korea, by the time they had $100 million fund of funds, had 22,000 patents generated yearly. The return was 18 billion, if I remember the number correctly. When you compare to Saudi has 1,200 patents. So the return did not exceed $1 billion. So there's a great correlation in the entrepreneurship ecosystem with the amount of innovation happening in academia and by inventors. These two are connected. They're not meant to be separated.
They're not meant to be separated.
Exactly. And that is the core essence of the mission of Progressio. And they're not meant to be bridged by a corporate. That's why we say expires soon. Progressio's mission only is achieved if it ceases to exist at some point. And we all can work in that future utopia ecosystem. And we're all in Progressio, we're all inventors. That we need to do this to go back to be able to go back to be inventors.
Oh my God. It's almost like you're highlighting the why and the what you want to do with your drive, with how you want to, why I want to do this, because I want the world to be a better place. Fine, you have your purpose. And what you want to do about it, I want to make a Nerf gun, for instance.
Yeah.
Let's remove the how.
Yeah.
Like, let's just have the how there, the know-how, basically.
Yeah.
On how to be an inventor, on how to do this. What are the steps? Where do I begin? Who do I talk to?
Yeah.
So you're completely taking this out of the picture.
Yeah. So this needs to be common knowledge. So for example, today, if I tell you need an ERP system for your company.
Fair.
If I tell you that, do you think that that's something I need to convince you to manage your supply chain? I need to convince you that you need a system to manage your supply chain?
No.
It's very intuitive. If you're a business, exactly. If you're a businessman running a corporate or running a trade agency, you need an ERP system to manage your inventory and so on and so on. If there's an open source model and you don't want to pay the high fees of SAP or Odoo or whatever, would you kind of go towards that?
If it's more affordable and it works as well?
Yeah.
I would, definitely.
So that's common knowledge, right? That's what we need. We need that to be common knowledge. We need the inventor to know that, okay, so my next step, the way I can make money is by licensing this. So let me go look for the problems of corporates so that I can license to them. Not me giving them that in a program that's paid.
Oh.
We want that to be the essence of the community. We want that knowledge. Let's say, I learned this later towards Progressio, because at the beginning of Progressio, my understanding was this is an infrastructure problem. So as an engineer, I need to build the infrastructure. What I learned later on that was the wrong approach. This is 70% an awareness problem, 30% infrastructure problem, and I can prove it. So think of the entrepreneurship ecosystem specifically in Egypt. 10 years ago, you can't be an entrepreneur without being looked at as a college dropout, someone who doesn't know what they're doing, someone that's chasing wild dreams. What is an entrepreneur? You're either a businessman, you either have the business or you don't. What do you mean you're building the business? What do you mean you're working late nights and you're not getting money and somehow you're going to get money? So that's how people looked at entrepreneurs then. And then entrepreneurs started getting highlighted, started getting incentivized and so on, that now they're stars. And by them being stars, the government infrastructure started building its strategies around entrepreneurship. So there started becoming government initiatives for entrepreneurship, started becoming programs for entrepreneurship. The awareness happened first, and then the infrastructure came later. That's exactly what we need. So by looking at what happened in entrepreneurship, by seeing that entrepreneurship had an awareness boost first, you started seeing the heroes of entrepreneurship. For example, here in Egypt, you saw Mohammed Nagati, you saw a lot of the serial entrepreneurs, and they became heroes of the community.
That's true.
And then you have a lot of young kids in college saying, okay, there's a new path. I don't have to be just an employee. I can either be an employee or an entrepreneur.
Actually, can you tell me more about Najati as well?
Najati
what's
is
the story?
Serial entrepreneur that started from Pauri, one of the largest corporates, to go IPO a tech corporate to go IPO.
And that's fintech, right? Or
that's fintech,
okay.
exactly. And then jumped to all these other startups and was the first serial entrepreneur in Egypt, jumping all around and creating these massive ventures, and then started his own VC and so on, and became kind of the hero of those entrepreneurs. And from that, we started seeing, okay, so there's a hero, and there are people that started believing that this is a path I can follow. So right now, each college kid has two choices: employee, in what I love and so on, or an entrepreneur in my own thing.
Yes.
Our hope is, by our awareness campaign, that's what we're doing through 1 Million Minds, a third option, or you can be an inventor, someone with an idea. You can turn your ideas into money. Ideas can be as valuable as startups. An idea, a patent, statistically can be as valuable as startups. You know that there are $500 billion circulating yearly in royalties on intellectual property. That's an industry. That's an industry that we need awareness on. So one of our KPIs, I want in the next 5 years to go to college kids and ask them, what are your options? And they say, well, I can either be an inventor, someone with an idea, an entrepreneur, or an employee. If I see that, we're golden.
You're golden.
Yeah.
What a beautiful mission.
Yeah.
And you hope to achieve that through Progressio both and 1 Million Minds.
So we have Progressio is the umbrella.
Okay.
It's the engine providing everything.
Right.
When we had the Eureka moment of the awareness, okay, so damn, this is an awareness problem, not an infrastructure problem. We need to stop being engineers. This is when I started 1 Million Minds. I took 2 weeks thinking up of the name, and I was inspired by 1 Billion Happy by Mo Gaudat.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Walking to the studio today, I was thinking about him. You have no idea. I was like,
Yeah.
Mo Gaudat also had the 1 billion happy. Interesting. I want to ask Yoeil about this.
That's exactly.
For real.
I got inspiration from it. You know why? It was brilliant. He said the mission in the name.
What was the mission? And like, if you can tell our viewers as well.
1 billion happy is just a mission to kind of make 1 billion people happy. So that's the beauty of it. There's nothing more to explain.
That's it.
He just want 1 billion people happy.
Yes.
And he's doing everything in his power to do that. So we decided, okay, what if we can incentivize 1% of our population to be inventors? Telling them that you have a place, so you don't have to be kicked out because of your intelligence and what you choose to do in life. We want to be able to help 1 million inventors, 1 million minds. So we set the mission in the name, 1 million minds. So that became our Eureka moment as Progressio. Realizing that our mission has to do with awareness more than infrastructure was the birth of 1 million minds. I remember taking 2 weeks thinking up the name, and I was listening to Mo Gaudat, and I was like, yeah, that's it.
That is it.
That is it, yes. And then we started working, we were blessed working with the Academy of Scientific Research and Technology, establishing the National Center for Technology Commercialization, something we're operating with them that centralizes all the patents and innovation commercialization in Egypt under one center. So everything that has to do with commercializing technology, even the technology transfer offices, they all get the funding and operate through one centralized system. That's the National Center. That's part of the program we're doing with the government as well. We have our services that we're providing either for corporates, universities, or even other governments, building innovation hubs with them that make money, not just innovation hubs that get you a number of patents or whatever. No, our slogan is we turn the ideas into money. We turn the ideas into assets. And this is for building the hubs, giving the know-how to the community and to the leaders that can take it forward. And we also broken down to the smallest services so that anyone at any stage can get the boost for the next step at a very, very reasonable fee. That's what we wanted to do. We wanted to be, let's say, democratize R&D, democratize technology management, democratize the knowledge, make it easy and accessible for anyone at any stage under any ecosystem.
Under any ecosystem.
Exactly. Entrepreneurship ecosystem, academia ecosystem, inventor ecosystem. Everybody can benefit. Everybody can take the next stage of R&D, technology management, of their invention, of their idea. Can have more paths to commercialize.
Can we have a few use cases?
Sure. So one of the use cases I love talking about that came out of Egypt here is the use case of iLock.
iLock.
iLock, the brilliant inventor Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, he narrates his story in a very, very, very interesting way. He did not believe in the ideas of inventors and making money from inventors. He's an aerospace engineer. And he's everything you could think of as an inventor. And one day, his kid got an electric shock from this high voltage power thing, and he said, okay, he was scared for his child, and he wanted to fix it. So he created this lock mechanism for any power voltage, high power voltage output, and then you can just twist and lock the electricity, block it out, or twist and connect. Simple on and off kind of switch, but in a brilliant idea. And he's saying that a lot of people started using it, and he was discussing with his wife, and he was telling him, okay, we can do something from this. If people like it, and he's 3D printing it at home and giving it to his friends. If people like it, why don't we use it? And it's a simple, simple idea. And then he got the book, One Simple Idea, that kind of tells you the steps as an inventor. And if you're an inventor, just read the book. If you want to know what you can do next, this book it's not that long and explains what you need to do next.
I haven't read it yet.
One Simple Idea is an amazing book. It tells you the exact steps to take your idea, turn it into an asset that generates money. He did the steps, the exact steps of the book. And he said, I was doing it to prove that this is a bunch of crap. Excuse my French. It's like, I want to prove that this is all just a scam, a Ponzi scheme. Nobody's going to take my idea and give me money for it. They're just going to take the idea and do it themselves. They have the factories and so on and so on. He said, I didn't believe my eyes until I cashed in my first check. They actually paid me for it. And he was like, he's saying he reached out to ABB in Europe. They had this open innovation portal. He didn't know. It's like, okay, so they have a portal for me to submit my ideas. So that's probably a thing. And he just put in the idea, and he said, like 2 hours later, the R&D manager replied back. And he's like, I had a prototype that wasn't so good, and he wanted to buy time. So he kind of told the R&D manager, I want to sign an NDA and so on, and thinking that would take weeks. He said he had one signed in 4 hours.
Oh.
and that's the beauty of this thing. He had the patent. He had the provisional patent, even not even the final patent. He had the provisional patent that you can just cost $50. He hasn't spent much, and the idea wasn't fully formulated, and they still signed him a licensing deal. And the next part of the story is what's brilliant about it. He started understanding patents, started doing this over and over again, becoming a serial inventor, and making money from royalties and so on. And he had another Eureka moment where he realized, okay, by licensing to ABB, according to the licensing contract, I learned everything about their R&D. I learned everything about the manufacturing know-how, because he sees the numbers in the audits. So he said, I have market research data better than any thing a market research firm can give me, because I'm in the kitchen with them. I have so much know-how, it would be dumb not to open iLock.
To capitalize on it. Oh.
Exactly. So from that, he took the knowledge he had, and then he funded from the royalties iLock. I was talking with him, I was like, did you take any VC funds? It's like, no, I don't know much about VC funds. Just funded it from royalties. So he's an inventor turned entrepreneur. He did this from Egypt.
Oh my God.
He did this here. The iLock are taking a huge market share in an industry that's overly populated. He has a lot of very strong competitors.
For sure.
And his core department, guess what? It's the R&D department. His biggest team. It's the department he works in the most. And their entire business strategy is built around their R&D. And they're killing it. So there you have it. That's the Negati of the inventor ecosystem. That's the hero of the inventor ecosystem. He showed that this could happen. So there are brilliant use cases. There's a lot of other use cases of inventors here in Egypt that went abroad and started licensing their technologies. These are the use cases that prove that we have the talent.
Right.
But the dark side of it is that we lost the talent. That's what we call the brain drain.
Yeah.
What Progressio is trying to do is tell every inventor, by what we're building, giving them a space, and you don't have to leave the country to be able to innovate. You will be appreciated and fostered here. We're trying to tell entrepreneurs that innovation in Egypt won't be hard. You'll find the best talent here. As I said, this supports the entire
ecosystem.
It supports all the islands. It turns the islands into one island.
That is beautiful. You're building so many bridges.
Yeah.
And you're trying to also sort of close that bridge that lets the talents just run away.
Exactly.
Because we have the same problem in Finland.
Yeah.
We have a brain.
The US is getting all our talents.
They're sucking it up.
The H-1B visa. They've designed their policies around incentivizing talent, around inventors. H-1B visa was a brilliant visa until they terminated it, allowing for all inventors to scale in. So they have the H-1B visa, they have the Bayh-Dole Act, they've engineered a system and an infrastructure that incentivizes an inventor to invent. They're rewarded, appreciated, just as they are. You don't need to be an entrepreneur, or you don't need to only be a scientist and an inventor, something that's not defined in between.
Right.
And I love that about the policies of universities in the US. They use the term inventor and they use the term scientist. They have the separation. So definitions are very important in awareness. So when you look at that, there are infrastructures that are designed to incentivize inventors. But again, it goes back to awareness. You have to have the people aware of what they can make. You and I can be that people can be millionaires over simple ideas. That's why the book is called One Simple Idea. One simple idea can make you a millionaire.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
So powerful. And just like you're saying, the awareness of it.
Yeah.
And definitions are very important. In that
very,
sense.
very important.
You know, in Finland, an entrepreneur is basically yrittäjä.
Yeah.
And yrittäjä means the person who tries.
Amazing.
Because yrittää is to try.
I love that. Yeah.
And I think that's a beautiful, because it's true. You keep on trying. That's what an entrepreneur is. It's not the superstar. It's something deeper.
Yeah.
Now, I'm so happy that we went through the past and we went also a lot in the present, where we are and what are the challenges and how you are trying to tackle those many challenges, one challenge at a time.
Yeah.
To be able to completely close out and go out of business.
Yeah.
And what you said is very interesting, is that once that knowledge is democratized, that's your KPI to say, okay, well,
our job is done.
Our job is done.
Yeah.
Specifically, if a child says, I want to be an inventor.
Exactly.
That's a job.
That was me as a child. I said, I want to be an inventor. And then society kicked that out of me. I hope to God that one day society realizes that that's something good, just as we do entrepreneurship today.
Well, for the people listening to us, what would you say is the most important skills they need to develop for them to actually go through that future?
Today, your most important commodity would be AI. You need AI. So AI was used in R&D first, before it was democratized. AI was used in the pharmaceutical labs first, before it was democratized. So AI, being able to accelerate intelligence, is very important for innovation. Because as an inventor, you have 1,000 ideas that you need to scope into one thing.
Yes.
The best tool you can use today is AI. I'm not talking about simple models like ChatGPT. I'm talking about in-depth, low-level AI that you can use per industry. Every industry has AI models that help it accelerate. If you're working in a pharmaceutical company, you're going to use advanced AI algorithms and you got to use advanced AI models, very specific and trained on data sets of pharmaceuticals in your R&D. If you are an inventor today and you want to accelerate the amount of inventions you can create, you need AI. So that's when it comes to inventing.
Okay.
When it comes to commercializing and managing your inventions, you need to start getting aware and learning everything there is about patents, about IP, about the prior art search. The simple idea we have, has someone done this before? You need to be able to go to for example, if you're in a university, to go to your university, ask the technology transfer office, can you do a prior art search for me for this patent? To be aware, to kind of, when you're inventing, to invent something that's actually new, not to work on something that someone else worked on and then get demotivated. So you need awareness when it comes to the patenting ecosystem, the licensing ecosystem. And you need to be aware with what commercialization is. When there is a decision being made where this should be a license or a spin-off or a startup or whatever, as the sole inventor, you need to understand why would you license and why would you spin off? Do you have what it takes to be an entrepreneur, or should you be an inventor that makes 10 more inventions and makes money from them? You should be aware that an invention and a patent can make you a lot of money and allowing you to stay an inventor. The success story is not turning from an inventor to entrepreneur.
No.
Again, look at the guy of the bank payment protocol. Takes a lot of royalties today from Visa and MasterCard. And he does not go on podcasts. He does not run a company. He does not do anything a CEO does or an entrepreneur does. Yet he's a billionaire in Silicon Valley living the dream. Don't tell me that running a company is you living a dream. As an inventor, of course, a lot of entrepreneurs would love that, and that's amazing. As an inventor, you want to stay in the lab, continue inventing. You can do that and be as rich as an entrepreneur.
Sure, absolutely. And even more fulfilled if that's what you like.
Exactly.
You don't need to change skin just to survive.
Exactly. Awareness that there are more paths. So you need to be literate on those paths. Understand commercialization. Understand technology management, understand R&D. Most probably as an inventor, you already understand R&D. On top of all of that, you need to be able to be very, very, very adaptive to AI. This will disrupt all industries, even the innovation industry. It will disrupt it heavily. Invention, let's say, the engine of innovation and invention is just going to accelerate. There are so many ideas that are going to come out.
It's on steroids.
Exactly. We used to take a lot of time and a lot of funding to go from TRL 2 and 3.
The technology readiness level.
Exactly. From 2 and 3 to 6 and 7. So that bridge is going to be faster and less costly because of AI.
Oh, yes.
So you need to be very well versed in that.
And if we take now this is where I think somebody who enters that ecosystem, that's where they're going to thrive. What if somebody who's on the outskirts and thinking to become an innovator or to create ideas, what would be your advice to them in those early stages?
If you read the book One Simple Idea, there's a very beautiful thing about it.
Okay.
You start learning what is an innovation. Normally when we think of an invention, we think of a lab coat. We think of someone in a lab.
True.
But you know that the ketchup Heinz bottle was a patent worth millions of dollars?
Ketchup.
The ketchup Heinz bottle.
The Heinz bottle. The bottle itself.
The bottle itself, the flip and squeeze bottle. You know the paperclip?
Yeah.
Was an innovation? A patent worth millions? So that's why I love this book. One simple idea. If you are someone on the outside, I'd advise you to look at the very simple patents that made millions, to realize and to get to that awareness of the value is in the idea, not in the lab. It does not have to be.
Yeah, not in the complexity.
Exactly. The simplest of ideas are the ones, by the way, that made the most millions. A toy gun made $80 million. Exactly. Not because of complexity.
I shouldn't have done my PhD.
Yeah.
It's like I went so deep.
Yeah.
But thank you, Yoeil. This is really insightful, and I love the fact that you just broke it down to the Heinz bottle.
Yeah.
In itself, so just beautiful, and I love the work that you do. And I want to also leave the audience with something that if somebody has an idea or they want to connect with you, what's the best platforms? Do you have an application form on Progressio? What's what's your platform?
Whether you're an inventor that can commercialize your inventions here in the region,
all right,
you can reach out to Progressio and we can help you do that. You can reach out to the National Center of Technology Commercialization if you're based in Egypt, and we can help you through the government funds. If you're a corporate, a business, or an SME trying to build innovation in-house, you can reach out to us and we are going to give you all the know-how we have. We're not consultants, we're implementers. We're trying to build that bridge in-house at your place.
That's beautiful. Even if it's a company in Finland?
Even if it's a company in Finland. What we're doing is industry agnostic. We can help any industry, anywhere, to build this know-how, this bridge, so that they can make the best out of their innovations and to kind of mine the inventions and make money from them. We can help turn the ideas in your region, the ideas in your company, into valuable assets.
You are a valuable asset.
Thank you. Thank you. It's always a pleasure talking with you.
Likewise. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Thank you. Wow, this is a whole world, if you think about it.
Yeah.
It's so many things to do, and what really, really gets like, okay, I understand you're doing a lot of great things.
Yeah.
But what about the challenges? What's the current big challenge that you're facing right now?
Oh, we have more challenges than I can count, like from the awareness to the people that are used to the old ways.
The old ways.
Yeah, so of scientific research and don't want to commercialize. You have inventors saying, okay, I have an idea and I want to commercialize it. Okay, what's the idea? No, I don't want to tell you. I don't want you to see my idea. You have, you have tons of awareness challenges when you go to the industry and they're like, hey, we can license this to you. Why license it? Why can't I do this myself? No, there's broken bridge. The broken bridges are the challenge. And trying to, let's say, create a space where everybody's appreciated and valued for what they do. Being an artist of your craft, whether you're a scientist, you're an inventor, or you're an entrepreneur, and people understanding that is a massive, massive, massive challenge. Working on a government and a nationwide level, immense challenge for Progressio. We're yes, a holding group with a lot of initiatives, and we're doing on many minds. We're doing our own patent fund. We're actually raising a patent fund right now to kind of fund inventors.
So a fund of fund?
It's a fund for inventors.
Fund for inventors, okay.
We're treating the patent as the company, and we're going to exit from the patent. So this is a fund first of its kind in the region. And there's all these initiatives that Progressio is doing, but there's a massive, even for us, doing this at a nationwide scale, fixing it on a nationwide level and a regional level is a massive challenge. And we're trying to do it quickly because we're running out of time. We don't have time to build the way our competitors did in other regions. We have to do it faster, more accelerated, so that we can catch up. So these are immense challenges, but I don't like to see them as only challenges. These are immense, wild opportunities, exactly. These are opportunities to scale. It's opportunities for the community that we're building, One Million Minds at the end, to thrive. And this is why we call this a movement that happens to manifest as a company. We see as the movement as something that does not die. Progressio ends, but the movement goes on. This is a movement of people that will take up arms on this mission and continue to scale this beyond the challenges. One company cannot fix the challenge, cannot conquer all challenges, but one movement can. And I love this. I got inspiration from Sony. Sony, the CEO of Sony at one time, when Japan was known for cheap copycats and so on, he set the mission for Sony as, I heard Jeff Bezos say this, he said, they set the mission for Sony up as Sony, they want Sony to be known for quality. He said, I want Japan to be known for quality. He set the mission of Sony outside of Sony, which was, to me, brilliant. And I think that's the essence of a movement, and that's what we believe Progressio one day will become or cease to become, so that the movement can go on. And yeah, and building this at a regional level is taking a huge toll on us, but we're very, very, very blessed.
Wow, it is a huge blessing.
Yeah, it is.
With great responsibility, with great power comes great responsibility. So it's also like a conundrum.
Exactly. I hate the CEO job. I tell other people, I hate the CEO job. And I'm very happy as a person. These two can exist. Being a CEO is painful with someone with the might of an inventor. Very happy because we're doing actual change. We're a lot of inventors wouldn't have the access I had. I could have gone abroad and I could have done my innovations where I would have been appreciated. Other inventors can't. Being able to see other inventors thrive because of what we've done is the greatest blessing anybody could ask for.
Powerful. And this is today. But what if we look at tomorrow?
Yeah.
What does tomorrow look like for Progressio?
I see. So let's say, how do we get practical when it comes to closing up the company? We believe the best way, we say we want to automate the answer, right? We want to automate the solution for the problem.
Yes.
How do we do that? By digitalizing the infrastructure. So our core, let's say, asset for this is an ERP for R&D.
Break it down. Let's start with ERP.
Yeah. So ERP is enterprise resource planning system. It's a system like the likes of SAP and Odoo have done for corporates to manage their supply chains. So we believe we need to create this platform that manages innovation supply chains from academia to business. There are platforms like that, but they're on separate islands as well. There are ones for R&D management that's separated from academia. There are ones for technology management that are locked in academia. We believe of creating a modular system that, for example, being in R&D at a corporate or Fortune 500 company, and you can see the innovations happening in universities right now, and you can connect with the universities and the labs directly. You can implement and configure the modules that you need to manage your entire innovation supply chain, from idea to commercialization. We're building this asset, not just for Progressio, not just for Egypt, not just for the region, but for the world. And one day we hope to make it democratized for everyone. Configure this, and you can mine the inventions you have. You can scale it, and you make the best use of it. So this is one of our core goals. The way we automate is if we digitalize the proper standard operating procedures so that it's democratized for everyone.
Standardize the standard operating procedures.
Exactly.
Or digitize, in what way?
So there are going to be standard operating procedures to be able to take idea to assets.
Gotcha, like the whole
Digitalizing that, the journey, exactly.
Oh my God, talk about AI.
Yeah. So AI is the biggest part of it.
Right?
Exactly. The biggest part of our platform is AI, configurable AI that will help you take those steps. Every step of the way, you're going to have AI supporting you in prior art search, in patent drafting, in helping you in the invention itself by looking at all the data. Okay, so what can I tweak in my invention so that I have a unique value add? It's going to have the inventor. It's going to help the R&D manager select the best invention. It's going to help everyone. It's going to be trained on a unified data set from very different technology management and R&D initiatives, and a lot of money is going to be made by a lot of people because of that ease of access. We hope so.
Absolutely. I think if I get it wrong, tell me if this is the picture that you're trying to paint. So I am a person who works in a Fortune 500 company, and I go like, God damn it, I hate the fact that we have XYZ as a challenge. And so I go to this platform that you're building and I write XYZ, who's building it or who's working with it.
Exactly.
And the AI goes like, actually in Cairo, at the University of Cairo, for example, they have a couple of patents that have found a solution to this issue. Yeah. That they're doing it in this innovative, different way, and they're already registered, and you can contact the inventor, the Yoeil at...
More on that. You can ask the AI, okay, what would their IP policy be? If I want to create a licensing deal, what would it look like? It would go search on all the licensing deals that have been done in a very similar industry and give you the recommendation. So by the time you contact them, you're ready to sign an MOU. Right away. Because you get all the answer. So the lack of knowledge, the misknowledge that we called it at the beginning, is that, okay, so there's a patent there. What do I do to get this in? What kind of deal can we have? You have those answers ready. The IP policy is going to be on there. The way they've done licensing deals is going to be on there. Everything's going to be clear.
This is beyond Google Patents.
I hope so, yeah.
It's beyond, because you're doing it from the ground up.
It's a bridge. It's not a data center. It's a bridge.
God bless.
Thank you.
This is a beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think this was good.
Yeah.